Just coming up to 22 minutes past 7. Hey, thanks for joining us this morning. We're just going to talk a little bit now about cybercrime because it's big. It's a constant onslaught of emails and links to try and fool you into clicking on something you really shouldn't, or maybe it's handing over some private information. And these criminals, they're clever and they use current events to their advantage.
Well, David Horn is a security expert from Cyberwhite, and he's been explaining to us how the latest events in Iran could be linked to phishing attacks in local businesses.
I don't necessarily think that the Iran threat, if we can call it that, changes that landscape dramatically. I think it just heightens everyone's awareness of the possibility because Iran do have an acknowledged cyber capability.
So what kind of attacks are we talking about here then?
One of the most common is phishing attacks where people will click on a link in an email because it looks as if it could be destined for them. You know, we've seen a lot of things fairly recently around, you know, your parcel from a well-known carrier or reset your password from a well-known online shopping site. So that type of thing. We also see more sophisticated attacks targeted at individuals, so things that we call spear phishing, where they are very specific and tailored to me. So it would be based on some information that would be available in the public domain. The third type, which is perhaps more generic and applicable to businesses, are the malware attacks. These are often the results of phishing attacks and spear phishing attacks, where a piece of malicious code will then download and then carry out a series of actions, typically encrypting people's hard drives and networks.
Joe, yeah, we do get warnings about this here at the BBC, about those kind of attacks. So who are you supporting so far? Have you started your work supporting people where we are in the North East?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of our clients include blue light services, SMEs. 99% of the businesses in the UK are in the SME sector, and that's where low-hanging fruit, if that's what I want to call it, sits for the cyber attacks.
Is it likely that everyday people like myself who just go about their normal business would be targeted? I know you mentioned there about getting emails through asking you to change passwords and stuff like that, or are these people mainly going for the big hitters, the big businesses?
It depends on who is orchestrating the attacks. If you have what we might call it, a lone wolf or a script kiddie sitting in a bedroom, they'll just fire off at whoever. So they'll pick email addresses up that are available on the dark web that they will have downloaded or bought as part of a list, and they'll just speculatively bang away at email addresses, and that's what would perhaps target you or I. However, it's more the organised crime groups who will be targeting businesses. There are quite a few known hacking groups with links back to Iran, some with some very kind of close links back to the Iranian regime, such as like the Iranian Cyber Army, then some others that are kind of more, I guess, proxy, if you like Charming Kitten, Phosphorus, and do the pretty well-known one, the Cutting Sword of Justice. Some fantastic names there, of course, but they're more the kind of nation-state ones that are right at the top of the tree, who are trying to do stuff against government departments and national infrastructure, so trying to bring down grids. So you've really got the whole range in between.
And is there anything that we can do that's basic that protects ourselves?
The first thing is just ensure you've got the basics covered. Make sure you've got a firewall, it's up to date, the rules are relevant and they're appropriate for what you're doing. If you're a business, ask your security partner. And if people don't have a security partner, then I would suggest they do engage one. Ensure that you've deployed antivirus software and anti-malware solutions, and that will pick up the viruses and the worms. Larger organisations should also consider having an anti-phishing solution, which would pick up all the phishing and spear phishing attacks. Train users. What is normal? What does anomalous behaviour look like? Implementing that standard can actually help guard against the most common cyber threats. So again, that's where it's useful to talk to a cybersecurity partner who will provide advice and guidance.
Cybercrime's such a huge thing to watch out for. David Horn there, a security expert from Cyberwhite.
You can listen to